Buddhist science is a study on Buddhism based on facts and science.
What is a Life? By Venerable Run Gruen Papart Saro, Dr. Run Gruen Lim Chu Patapa. A life is a system of an individual being, including human being, animals, plants, and even microorganisms such as virus and bacteria. Typically, a life consists of two main parts, a body and a mind. In Buddhism, a life can be a being without body, such as life after death, which is called a being with formless, and sometimes it is called a spirit. Therefore, birth and death are just a transition of life from being formless to form, and vice versa. However, the information of individuality or karma still passes through from one formation to another formation. Typically, when life is in a form mode with body, we take plenty actions as generating karma, while when being in a formless mode without body component, the spirit can only consume the result of karma. Therefore, in Buddhism, when being a human being, it is the most valuable period of life to improve the quality of life. In the 18th century, René Descartes, the father of modern philosophy, was also interested in the Western philosophy, as he published in the article Meditations on a First Philosophy describing the nature of mind that life is composed of body and mind, and the brain influences the mind in such a way that whatever changes in brain causes changing in emotions, cravings, and the mind instructs the body to take actions. Clearly, the life description by Descartes is identical to the descriptions of life in Buddhism. Later on in the late 19th century, William James, the founder of American psychology, was interested in Buddhism and introduced the notion of Buddhist consciousness into the psychology of mind, that life is a stream of consciousness, and the phenomena of mind should be studied indirectly through the careful observation on behavior and of the brain, and should be examined directly by means of introspection. And recent neuroscience research study in human connectome reveals a very interesting discovery, that human brain, the mind, is simply a natural process of signal processing within an individual neuron network. In Buddhism, life can be defined in many ways depending on the areas or aspects of the study. For instances, 1. Life is a system consists of body and mind. 2. Life is a system consists of body, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. 3. Life is a stream of consciousness. 4. Life is a series of objects of consciousness in related with body, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. 5. Life is a collection of the elements of body, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. 6. A life of an ordinary person is a process of dependent origination. 7. A life is no self. What makes the Buddhism an interesting religion in an ancient time, is the knowledge of the descriptions of mind. In Buddhism, a mind or a spirit is an abstract part of life in addition to the physical part of body. In Buddhism, a mind is considered as a most important part of life because the mind will instruct the body to do whatever in responding to the world, therefore the mind is acting as a boss of the body. In improving the quality of life, the focus in Buddhist study is aiming to the mind. And most of the Buddha teachings are about the mind, including the components of mind, the mind processing, the cause and effect in mind processing, what process causes an effect of a certain state of mind, what is an error or problem in mind processing, and how we can manage to maneuver a mind processing, etc. In Buddhism, the study of the mind is considered as the second part in the threefold study strategy after the study of morality, and the study of mind is so important that only after then, we can gain an insight wisdom. A mind consists of 4 components, namely a group of feeling, a group of perception, a group of mental formations, thinking, and a stream of consciousness. At a first glance, it is a stream of consciousness that causes a various mental phenomenon happening within the mind. The Buddhism explains that these phenomena are natural on-off phenomena that are caused by certain causes and effects, beginning with the process starting with receiving a stimulus from the world at the 6 sense bases, and then processing within the mind in various processing before responding back to the stimulus by instructing the body to take a certain action to the world. It is apparent that the matter of what a person can be either a wholesomeness or unwholesomeness really depends on how the mind processing, saying whether it is right or wrong. In Buddhism, the study about a body is quite simple because it is tangible, while the study on the part of a mind is a very complicated one. In study of the mind, Buddhism introduces an insight observation approach to see on the arising mental phenomena. In Buddhist study of the mind, we will investigate into four aspects of insight study as follows. Firstly, a series of mental phenomena from component standpoint of the four aggregates of mind. The arising and fading away of the object of consciousness related with the five aggregates of being. Secondly, the duality descriptions of mind in terms of process and state. Thirdly, the cause and effect of a stream of consciousness in related to the four aggregates of mind that generating a mind processing as described in the process of dependent origination. Fourthly, what is happening at a particular instance of consciousness, in the mechanism of consciousness. The insight study in Buddhism is all about the study of the insight of the mind on how the mind processes in order to gain the knowledge of the truths of life, and then by using this knowledge to correct all the problems within the mind, we can purify the mind and taking actions to the world rightly. The main problem of mankind is the mistake taken by the mind to assume the becoming of self, and then trying to entertain the self with happiness, and once encountering suffering in life, we create a super self, and desperately begging for help from the super self to bring happiness to life. Although the introduction of super self may be with a good intention in the beginning, but it misleads to an ignorance to study on the reality of nature, and consequently we spend all our times focusing only on to feeling for happiness without being aware of what happening to the others. The Buddhism describes this situation as an ignorance with a delusion of being a self of someone or something. In order to resolve this problem, the Buddha suggested to study and to develop an insight wisdom to cleanse all errors within the mind. What really making the Buddhism a scientific study, is the pragmatic insight observation on the behaviors of mind. The insight on the mind with mindfulness is a breakthrough discovery that makes the Buddhism as a religion based on observations which leads the way to insight discovery of the truths of life within nature. Therefore, the Buddhist practice is not a magical practice for miracle, but it is a systematic investigation on the mental phenomena, and then contemplating on the informative observations to gain an insight wisdom of what happening in the mind.